Dr. Dre and his wife of 24 years, Nicole Young, are going through a nasty divorce.
Yeah, Nicole's asking for $2 million a month in spousal support and for him to sit in a 21-hour deposition to go through their prenup and other financial issues.
Whoa, this is really juicy, so you all need to stay tuned to find out more details.
Ladies in law, ladies in law, ladies in law, ladies in law.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Make sure you like our video and subscribe to the Ladies in Law.
Yeah, you know that little heart and thumbs up at the bottom of your screen? Click it before you do anything else.
Right, because legal news like this is too hot to miss, and we're bringing it to you every Thursday at 3 p.m. I'm Rippy.
And I'm Shake.
And we're the Ladies in Law,
where we're ripping and shaking up all the legal information you know, need to know, and want to know.
From the tabloids to the courthouse to your own home.
So today, we're talking about Dr. Dre and his estranged wife, Nicole Young. Now, Nicole filed for divorce after 24 years of being married to Dr. Dre and having 2 adult children. Now, Nicole's claiming some crazy stuff. She's saying that Dr. Dre has a history of violence and coercive control.
Wow.
Both before and during the marriage. Allegedly also forcing her to sign a prenup before they got married. And now she's seeking $2 million a month in spousal support, well, temporary spousal support, while the divorce is pending.
That's ridiculous.
It's a crazy amount, yeah.
Now, the monthly expenses that she lists to support that $2 million
let's hear this.
are very interesting. Here are some of them. Laundry and cleaning.
How much?
$10,000 a month.
Okay.
Clothes, $135,000.
Oh, she got good wardrobe. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Education, so this is for tuition and living expenses.
Okay.
$60,000. I didn't know she was in school. I mean, she was an attorney actually before she got with him.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay, interesting.
Entertainment, this is the kicker. $900,000 a month. I mean, I want to be her friend. I mean, whatever the hell she's doing for $900,000. I mean,
oh my God.
That's crazy. Charitable contributions, $125,000. I did not know that you can get your spouse to pay for charitable contributions. I thought it was for like your living expenses.
I didn't know that either, but I guess you can go for anything, right?
Yeah, I guess you can ask for you one, see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgage, $100,000. Okay. Telephone, cell phone, email, $20,000. I've never heard of this. I mean, email should be free. I mean, if you have a business, it doesn't cost that much to get a business email.
Okay.
Cell phone and telephone shouldn't be $20,000. And other individual expenses, which basically brings a total to $2,530,000.
Okay.
Yikes.
Wow.
So sources that are connected to Dr. Dre say that he's already been funding her lifestyle, you know, while they've been separated. They live in separate homes. He's in LA, she's in Malibu. But they say he's paying for the chefs, the security, the whole nine, everything to maintain her living. Well, she, on the other hand, disputes that and says Dr. Dre has been stingy. She said that he has denied her the right, among other things, to use her Amex Black Card.
I want the Black Card.
So who's really telling the truth here? I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, do you think that she'll be able to get that much money in the $2 million that she's requesting?
Well, here's the thing. She's going to have to validate all those different expenses, you know, provide invoices, receipts, and all that. And if that's how much they make, maybe. But this is what happens in a divorce while it's going on. You got 2 things. You can either get temporary spousal support like Nicole's seeking, or you can ask a judge to keep the status quo of the marriage going during the divorce. I always go for status quo. That's usually when you just want to maintain what was happening before the divorce was filed all the way through the divorce, and then whatever the result is, then you move on from that. This is a lot what will happen when you've got like more of a traditional marriage where there's a stay-at-home mom usually, has no access to the accounts, hasn't been the one working, and needs a way to continue living while the divorce is going on. Well, then there's temporary spousal support. And a lot of times, and probably why Nicole's doing this, is you ask for it because it establishes what you should get maybe when the divorce is actually done.
It sets a benchmark.
So Nicole's probably saying, hey, I need this, forget status quo, this is what I need. And then she would, if she were to get it, say, well, guess what, the judge already agreed with this, it should continue. I have a hard time seeing a judge doing that much for temporary spousal support versus doing a status quo or a lower amount, because the judge probably knows that Nicole will then use it as a negotiating tactic.
Yeah, it's strategic.
And would rather, make sure things are fair and even as best as possible during the divorce and after, which is what divorce laws require in all states.
Now, Nicole is also asking for $5 million in attorney fees, which seems like an outrageous amount, but may not be the case, given the wealth of the parties and the circumstances surrounding this case. Now, even though she hasn't accumulated $5 million in attorney fees, 5,000 is nothing. $5 million in attorney fees, the judge can still order Dr. Dre to pay attorney's fees. Now, in Michigan, the party who is requesting that attorney fees be paid has to be the one defending the lawsuit. That means that they have to be served. So in this case, in Michigan, Nicole would not be able to go after attorney fees.
No.
Well, in California, it doesn't matter who filed, either party. So that's why Nicole can seek them. We typically will ask for attorney's fees up front if we're representing a client who is in a traditional situation, who's stay at home, their spouse is the one who has been funding everything, and our client really doesn't have much money.
Yeah.
Now, in Dr. Dre's case, the judge will most likely order some attorney fees to be paid up front. Probably won't do the whole $5 million. However, the judge can leave that open so that attorneys, as they work on the case, can submit invoices and get paid as the case goes along.
Right. Now, $5 million seems like a lot, but
it may rack up. They may rack this up.
They may rack it up far quicker than anybody would ever expect, especially if it's this contentious. Well, okay, there was a prenup. Right? So why is all this even going on?
Yeah, shouldn't it just be like boom, boom?
Boom, boom. Prenup's in. This is what she gets. Done. Move on. Yeah, that'd be too easy. That would not be the law.
And her attorneys wouldn't get paid that much money.
No, they're not going to get their $5 million. Nicole's claiming that there are issues with the prenup she signed. Even in her divorce documents, she said it was basically her signing that prenup before the marriage was like a gun to the head. And quote, she says, I was extremely reluctant, resistant, and afraid to sign the agreement and felt backed into a corner. Okay, but she had an attorney.
Yeah, so how was she
So how did she, well, California and pretty much all states do require that if you're signing a prenup, you have consulted separate counsel. So she did that. There's a lot more other requirements, especially in California, because there's a lot of premarital agreements there. In addition to having an attorney present, usually almost 99.9% of the time, it's required to be written and signed by both parties at least 7 days prior to the actual marriage certificate being signed and all of that. And that it has to be voluntarily done. Well, of course, Nicole, based on that quote from the divorce document, is saying
it's not.
It wasn't. She may have had an attorney, but she didn't voluntarily do that. Who knows where she's going to claim
it? I mean, how can she claim it's not voluntary if she put her signature?
I know, but she could have felt pressure behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm sure all those juicy details will come out.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's not just that. There's 2 other additional requirements. Okay. You cannot, 3, you can't limit child and spousal support in those documents. Don't know if that's the case with this. Spousal too, yeah. And if you're the party that is not signing the prenup, you have to disclose to someone like Nicole who's signing it all of your assets, down to the nitty gritty, what their estimated value is, and it has to be charted out. So I wonder if that happened. Here's the really interesting thing that California does. It requires the person that's signing it to be in a fair situation. So based on what the other person owns and has, so Dr. Dre, who has so many assets, when Nicole signed it, that prenup has to be fair to her. So we might be like, wow, she's gonna get all of this. Well, that might be a lot to the average person.
But when she signed it, he obviously wasn't a billionaire, so it's based on
That's
his
true.
position when they got married 24 years ago. I mean, he
That's
had money, but
very true.
not nearly what he has now.
Right, so that's true. These are all things that Nicole will be arguing, some more successful than others, but yeah, it's like any other contract, a prenup, it can always be litigated.
Now, another interesting thing that is going on with the prenup, Nicole claims that Dr. Dre ripped up the prenup several years into their marriage.
Act of love.
He obviously says that this is not true. Again, like, who's really telling the truth here? I mean, this is really he say, she say at this point.
Messy.
We don't know, how this is going to play out, but there's a lot at stake. I mean, Dr. Dre's estimated net worth is $1 billion. So she has a big, stake in this.
Yeah.
Nicole is also requesting that the court order Dr. Dre to sit for a 21-hour deposition so that they can hash out these prenup and financial issues, which 21 hours is a very long time. In our experience, depositions typically, don't go over 7-8 hours. So 21 hours is like, wow. 8 hours alone, she's requesting just to talk about the validity of the prenup. And then the remaining 13 is to hash out whatever other finances. Nicole claims that Dr. Dre has already skipped out on a few deposition hearings that were scheduled via Zoom. So she's requesting that it be in person for 21 hours. I mean,
you get potty breaks.
They're probably gonna have to break that up into months.
Yeah.
I mean, no one can go 21 hours straight. I mean, that's just
a mess.
Insane. So she wants them in person instead of Zoom. And she's also asked the court to fine Dr. Dre for $50,000 for missing the prior depositions, which, the court has authority to do that. $50,000, oh my God, it seems like a ton of money, but to him, he's a billionaire, that's nothing. The court really wants to ensure that he's taking this, the proceedings seriously, and that he's going to comply with whatever orders that he's been given.
They probably, if he continues, will do more than $50,000 because if it's not enough to get him to show up, they're gonna be like, we're gonna keep hurting you financially till you do it. So yeah. Well, okay. This is gonna be a very probably long, drawn out divorce. But what do we know at this time? We know that spousal support is not a set number, obviously. It comes into a lot of different factors, depends on the case, the parties, the life they've lived, what their expenses have been, how long they've been together. It's always different. And most of the times, a judge will order temporary spousal support or maintaining status quo during the divorce if there's one party that has all the money, essentially, or has made most of the money and the other has not. And then there's prenups. Sure, get a prenup signed, that's great, but there's a lot of requirements and every state has different requirements. So if you are doing that, try your very best to try to stick to that, because you do not want to do a prenup and then be back just litigating that on top of it. Thanks for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe so that you get all the hottest legal news every week from the Ladies in Law.
That's another episode of Ladies in Law, not your average lawyers.
Rip it up, shake it up, rip it up, shake